Do a little bit of work with, but the idea of how to fillet a barramundi, and first cut is just here. Just start it at this area here, go down, put the knife in at the backbone, come along there. Don't try and go too deep. Just go right through to the end, and don't go through until you're right at the end of the tail. And they're the main cuts that you make. I usually do the opposite side as well before I go any further. So then just turn the knife there. Again, just run it down along the back line, and then at the end of the cut, just run it out the tail. Whoop, a little bit of the tail. It's good for the skinner, gives him something to grip. Then you just do another cut and you bring that down onto the backbone basically. You've just gone through to the backbone. Then you just got to come up over the rib cage, and because we're scaling this brisket area here and leaving it as a brisket, you go up over the rib cage, and then you've got to change the angle of the knife and come back down over that backbone a little bit. And there's your fillet of barramundi, nice clean fillet of barra. And then I'll toss that over there, and then the skinner will get into that. So basically it's the same principle on the other side, just to get the second fillet off. Whoop, bring it up a bit there. So you just go through to the backbone itself, up to the rib cage, up and over the rib cage, then make sure you angle your knife changes, down the rib cage, out through there. That's your other fillet. And then what we do is take this brisket, and there's a little bone there, we flip around that, around another little bone there, and down the belly flap area, just below the bottom of the ribs. Same here, there's a little bone there, you just got to trim around him, and another little bone there, you just come in under that. Again, down the bottom of the ribs, up there, cut it around his bottom there, and then cut out his heart and lungs. And that's the brisket. What you also do then is trim down the centre of the brisket, break it, because there's a little bone right here that'll bugger up your knife. Put your knife in there, wriggle the brisket, trim it through, and you've got a really nice piece of meat that you give to all your grandmothers and all that sort of thing, mother-in-law.
Beautiful.
No, they're really nice.
Beautiful
really
in the oven with a bit of onion and...
It is, it's beautiful, just on the bone and that, yep. So that's basically the guts of filled in the barramundi, and that's what you've got left.
That's what goes on the game rod tonight.
Put that on the game rod tonight, and hopefully we'll get ourselves a big groper or something. Rightio, the next process is to skin the barra. Take the skin off, so we've got a skinning knife, quite a large knife, which just makes it easy. The idea is to sort of get yourself started by just trimming a bit back and give yourself something to grip, and then get over the edge of the table. But the secret is to work the fish and the knife to a degree as well, but basically you're working the skin of the fish left and right, and the knife stays pretty still. And that's the skin. You don't get any flesh on it, and that's the end of that. We chuck that over in a little rubbish pile there. And then, even though I don't think it's quite legal, because I don't think you're supposed to keep a fillet under 27 centimetres, but it's a bit silly because we find that to pack a fillet that size, it's a bit of a pain if it's only for one meal. So something that size we usually cut into 3, but what the idea is at the start of the trip, whatever the size of the fillet is you're cutting, make sure you do it, even if they're bigger fish, you cut them to the same size. So we're going to cut that one into, say, 3, and then by the end of the trip, we'll all the bags of fillets, if you're putting 3 bits to a bag, should all be the same size, basically the same size. So either you're putting 2 to a bag or 4 to a bag, we'll work that down a tick. But from this point, we go into a bucket, which is a little bit dirty here, but we wash the fillets. Just doing the skinning, washes the fillets, brings them over here to a point where we dry them. Get them out here, get a cloth, or an old sheet, dry the fillets. Then we have our good friend here and my able assistant, my bag bitch. And well, I don't know, what are we going to do? 2, or what are we up to? 2 or 4? What do you reckon, Bommy?
Oh, 4, I think.
4 to a bag?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'd be right. This bag's actually only going to have 3 in it because we haven't done 4. But if we do that...
Well, I would have said 3 then, but...
I reckon there's more than that in a bag.
Yeah, but it's just if you get it out for a meal for one person, or maybe 2 people, it's probably enough. Probably 4 is a better idea. So we'll do this bag just to show you, and we'll pretend there's 4 in there. We all know there's only 3, so... But you spread the bag out, sort of squeeze the air out of as much as you can, flap the bag over, and then just fold it at this point. Sort of just keep folding it down. And then we've got a knife here which we just put 2 holes in, and then squeeze as much air out as we can and get this bag as tight as we can, just to squeeze as much air out, and that won't give you any freezer burn then. So then we've got our stapler, which is just here. You just go along here with the stapler and go chonk, 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 chonk. You've got a beautiful bag of barramundi.
We put a big B on that for bomb.